Hello and welcome to another video. Today I've just picked up this Xbox Series S. The condition's pretty good, just a little dent in the corner there, a couple of feet missing at the bottom, all the feet on the sides are done, and yeah, apparently with this it has an issue where the HDMI port's dodgy. So by the looks of it, inside it looks okay, looks slightly pushed up. This has been repaired before, apparently. The previous owner took it to some guy. It worked for a while, then it started playing up again. So let's see what the case is in here. So I'm just gonna fast forward through the stripping down process. So let's get a Torx T something? T10? T10, yes, I think that's the right size. And I'm just going to fast forward. No, it's not T10, it's the next one down. T0. I think that's T0. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to fast forward all this bit. And I'll get back to you once I get down to the motherboard level. Actually, I'm gonna see if it works first. That's one thing I've not even tested yet. So let's confirm the fault. Okay, so I've got said console plugged in. There's my TV over there. Ignore the fingerprints and stuff, it's very dusty. So let's see if it powers up. No beep sound, but that's due to settings, I reckon. Let's see if we get a picture. Yeah, we do. Oh, and it goes off. On. Okay, so it is definitely, yeah, it's definitely a dodgy cable. Yep, wiggling it and it cuts off. Yeah, now it's not working again. So definitely an HDMI issue. So let's get back to the stripping down part. Right, I can also see something missing already. You can see there's supposed to be like this little metal clip here to keep the motherboard secure. That's missing. No big deal, but the fact that the person who repaired this didn't put everything back together is quite shocking. But, oh my goodness. Okay, let me strip it down. I see something majorly wrong with this. So, very, very wrong. I'm not happy with it, but it is what it is. Let me continue stripping it down. Right, let's take the power supply out. That's the power supply. Disconnect the fan. Fan comes out. A little bit dusty, but as to be expected. Now, I don't know if you can see in the video, look at that HDMI port. What is all this stuff? Is it glue? I think that is glue. Why? Why glue it down? That is, thank God that's only glue, hot glue by the looks. But you shouldn't need to do that. We'll find out why he's done that, or she, whoever done it. I am going to remove the heatsink because I don't know if it has been repasted after the HDMI port repair. So I'm just going to remove the heatsink anyway. I just need a flathead screwdriver because I don't have the correct tool for it. This might be a bit big, but it should work. There you go. 1, 2. Okay, that one's not coming. Do this one. Yeah, there you go. Now let's see. Okay, they did repaste it, but it looks like they didn't clean it off properly. It's got like a little dry spot in the middle. So for now, let's just clean this up because I get thermal paste everywhere otherwise. It's some messy stuff. I'll clean that properly once I've repaired the before. Okay, right, this hot glue. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna get you guys under the microscope, but I'm just gonna dig away at all this hot glue. Actually, I'm gonna melt it a little bit. So I've got my hot air gun set to 100 degrees just to see if I could get this off. Why have they done this? I honestly don't know. Hot glue. Tell you what, I know what works better than hot air. Isopropyl alcohol. Forgot about that. So if I literally just put some isopropyl alcohol in a lid and get a cotton bud, dab it in there, put it on here, it should lift it off. Make sure I douse it in it, make sure it gets proper soaked in. Now it should be easy to pop out, come off. There you go, look at that, it's coming off in chunks. Oh, okay, so it's right, okay, I know exactly why he's done that, and he's not used the correct tools for it. But still, you shouldn't use this. This is the wrong thing to use. The whole port's loose. Oh my god, who's done this? Seriously. Oh, okay. So we know it semi-works, so it can't be that bad, surely. Alright, let's get you under the microscope and let's see what's going on. So we're under the microscope now. If I zoom in a little bit more, and you can see here, it's had some sort of trace repair done. Very poorly, like I don't know what's going on there. You can see how loose the port is. Yeah, that's not good at all. It's like even the bottom where the legs are not even soldered. Why? Why is there solder all at the side here? Let's flip it over, let's have a look. And this is where the legs are. There's more hot glue. Let me focus that. Yeah, the back legs seem kind of soldered in, but the front, there's not enough solder at all. There's more of that hot glue. So the first thing to do for us now is remove the actual HDMI port and then clean everything up. I might have to order a new port. It depends. It might be okay. See that? That's not even connected. It might be okay to use again. We'll see once I get it off and clean everything up. So let's do that. Alright, I've got my hot air gun set to 440 degrees. Let's get this thing off. So if I just heat it from underneath, it should all melt and drop off. This side's not melting, so we'll give it a little bit more extra heat. I've got the back door open, so it's blowing through cool air, which is quite annoying. But yeah, the port's off anyway. The port's come off. So now I'm going to clean up these holes. So we don't need that solder in there. I don't know what solder he's used, if it's leaded or unleaded. Two holes done. Three holes. Might have to close my back door. Four holes. Okay, that's all the holes cleared now. Just going to use a cotton bud to clean up the mess. There's flux everywhere from the previous person. Previous technician, if you call them technicians. It's best to clean it while the board's hot. Okay. Let's remove said port. Very gooey. Very, hot glue. My fingers. What a stupid idea, whoever done that. Honestly. Wow, you can't put hot glue on a port. Look at that, look at the state of that. I am going to have to order up a new port, so yeah. Right, let's check up this side. What's going on with this side? Right, so we have a couple of pads ripped. Oh, still sticky there. Jesus Christ. Let's try and clean it up. I repaired an Xbox not too long ago, and it had every single pad ripped off. It was a mess. Okay. Alright, it's looking a lot better now. Still bits of glue everywhere. Let's get my brush. Alright, I think that's the best I'm going to get it. You could see, I think it's, those two pads are okay, they're just ground pads. We do have other ground pads anyway. Where's the ground? That's a ground pad anyway. All this is ground, that's ground, that's ground, that's ground, that's ground. Wait, that's not ground. Yeah, it is ground. So this one here is missing. There's the trace there, it's broken. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have to do a trace repair. So I'm going to have to scrape back a bit of this trace here and put a wire from there to there, and I'll show you how to do it properly without using super glue. First I've got to make sure this is proper clean. Right, now that's clean. So let's scrape that trace back a little bit. Oh my god, I've got hot glue everywhere. All on my tweezers. Okay, so this one. Wait, is it this trace? Oh my god, there's two of them missing. Okay, there's two trace repairs. These two both need doing. So that trace is all missing there. with the pad. This one's missing there with the pad. So okay, I'll have to scrape it back twice because they are data pins, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So let's scrape this back. That's the wrong angle for me. Right, let's see if that's enough. Sorry about the shaky camera, I've got a rubbish stand for it. Okay, you can see a bit of the copper's exposed. I want a little bit more than that. Just a little bit more. Get something like that. That's good to me. Now I've got the same again with this other tracy on this side. So I'm going to move it slightly to get a better angle. I check it out. Hit a little bit exposed then, I want some more. Okay, I think that looks good. Yep, that's all exposed. Now I need to get some solder onto that. So if I turn on my soldering iron, and I'll be back once it's heated up. So now my soldering iron's heated up. I've got a thing called flux. It helps the solder flow. First, I've just got to put a little bit on there, not too much. There you go, that's enough. And I've got some solder here, soldering wire. Very shaky hands at the minute. That's what caffeine does to you. And let's just prep these things, these traces, with a bit of solder. And now I've got to get some jumper wire. So what I usually use is just a cable. Let me go get it and I'll show you under the scope. So I've just got like a USB port cable, and you've got these strands of wire on the end. I just use them. So if I strip some of this wire off, that's the wires exposed. These are very, very tiny. Very, very small. They look bigger under the scope because obviously it's magnified. So I'm just going to snip some wires off. Now I have to grab one little piece of wire. You can see there it is. And now I need to solder it down onto that bit there. So I need a bit more flux. Again, it's to help the solder flow. There you go. I need a bit of solder on my iron. And with shaky hands, you have to solder it down. It's just difficult. Keep still. And there you go. That's one piece of wire done. And what I'm going to do, because they're quite close together, I don't want to risk moving that piece of wire that I've just done. So if I just dab it with that to get as much flux off, get some isopropyl alcohol, give it a little brush. Make sure the surface is clean because I'm going to add some solder mask. So solder mask basically covers up the work that you've done. Instead of using super glue, you don't use super glue, that's stupid. Alright, wait for that bit to dry and I'll be back once I've got my solder mask ready. Just putting a bit of solder mask at the end of a tweezer and I'm dabbing around the area. Just like that. And what we'll do is we're going to cure this solder mask so it'll go all nice and hard. And once it's cured, what's that bit of sticking up wire? Let's move that wire a bit. I've got a piece of wire wobbling everywhere. Break that off. There you go. I think the wire's off. Don't want it interfering with this other bit of solder area there. Right, so what I'm going to use now is I've got a thing called a UV lamp, and this is UV reactive, so it will solidify with UV. So I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's here. I've got to put it on. If I turn the light off, you'll be able to see it. Hopefully, it'll be like a purple glow. See? and I'm just going to place it on top of that area for 60 seconds. And you can see there it's got a timer on it. It's going to go down every 10 seconds. Now the 10 seconds is up, I'm going to remove it, turn the light back on, focus it back in. And you can see it's now solidified. If I get my tweezers and give it a prod. And that has gone nice and hard. That's just me scratching it, but that's gone nice and hard now. So this piece of wire is perfect. It's in the right position. That's all good right there. I am going to snip off the ends there once I've done the other side. Bit of solder mask there. But yeah, that's nice and hard now. We'll secure that wire's not going anywhere. And now it's time to do the other bit. Damn it. This wire is so small. Beautiful. And there you go, that's soldered on nicely. So now I'm going to try and position, actually I'm going to clean it first. So a bit of isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip or a cotton bud, just to dab away most of it. And my brush with some more alcohol on it. Give a nice little brush. If it comes off, then it's not fit for purpose. Okay, so now let's position it before I put more solder mask down. So it goes from there. Make sure it's sitting down on the board. Don't want it lifting up. And just there's good. Yep, just there. So let's get some solder mask on that one. Okay, let's cure it again with the UV lamp. Again, 60 seconds. Turn that off so it doesn't interfere. And let's just wait. Okay, that's all done and solidified. Let's focus it back in. It looks like there's a couple of wet spots still. I could be wrong. No, that's solid. That's solid. So that's that. And now I've got to trim down these wires. I've got a scalpel here that I'm just going to use to trim it down. So from there's good. I need the tweezers. Can't get a flat surface on it. Damn it. There you go, that's that chopped off. And same with this one. Oh, still got a wire on that one. Don't need to trim them down, but for aesthetics reasons. So that's them wires done. Now if I push them into the positions they need to be, make sure it's flat because don't want it lifted. Nice and nice. And there you go. 2 trace repaired wires with no extra glue. No glue that they used. Whatever glue, I don't know what glue they used. But yeah, so that's all done. Now let's prep the area. So we need some flux. Fill these in with flux. So we're going to fill these up. Ah, it's going out of focus. Okay. I might have to change the tip on my soldering iron. It's probably too small, but let's give it a go. Bit of solder. Okay, so that's all prepped now. I think there's some solder on the new wires. It's hard to tell really. I did go over it, so just push them back into position. Yeah, there you go. Right, I've got a much bigger tip on now, so it should make a massive difference. Okay, I think we're good there for solder. So what I'm going to do actually is just add some from the back, just to be sure. I want a nice solid connection. Okay, perfect. Clean it up. Clean off all this flux. Don't want flux everywhere. Clean up the flux. Oh, okay. So what's happened there is the flux has cooled down, so it's become sticky. So just a bit of isopropyl alcohol. Oh, and I've moved my wires out of the way. Doesn't matter. Nice. Beautiful. Alright, let's get my brush. Too much flux. Okay, that's done. These wires are slightly bent. I'll have to straighten them out again. And then it's ready for the port to go on. That's straight. To be honest, that's straight enough anyway. Right, because I'm impatient, I've ordered a new port, but for this video, I've just cleaned up the old port. There's still bits of glue in places, which is really hard to get off, but I'm gonna use it for this video, just to show that it will work. I've got my hot air again set to 440, airflow 5, and heating from beneath, and add a bit of flux. Not too much, it'll all spread. Okay, now that looks like it's sat down. Ignore all this solder on the edge here, that's not mine, that's the previous person who done it. Let's clean that up and let's test the pins. So now if this port ever does go again for any reason, it should be easy to do a port swap because I've done that trace repair and it should be lasting. It's very well protected. Okay, that's all cleaned up. Let's check the underneath. Underneath has nice solder joints, if I could get it in the camera. And you can see there, they've come through lovely. Don't even need to touch them up really. They look nice. Okay, let's test the pins. So, I'm going to use my tweezers to nudge them. If any move, then that's a bad sign. This will move because it's attached to the leg. Yep, they're all solid on there. So that's very good. You can see that leg slightly bent. It's because it's not a new port. So this leg is slightly bent, same as that one. So these two are quite close together, but they seem fine, I think. Is that a bit of solder in between them? I don't know. Let's give a little test with the multimeter. So we're not looking for a beep. If it beeps, that's bad. Oh, stop. So that pin and this pin. Yep, it's not beeping. It's good. So they're not connected. So that should be done. If I show you the port inside to see if it's an okay port. It's good enough for now until the new port arrives. See? Port itself looks okay. A little bit bent down there, but other than that, I think it's okay. Alright, let's put it back together partially and see if it'll boot. I've partially put it back together. Let's give it a test. The port is still slightly bit loose, still powers on. Let's see if we get a display. Of course we do. Okay, again I'm going to blank out the name and the top bit, but if I give the HDMI port a wiggle, there you go, look at that, solid. Solid. And you can see down there, it's better than the hot glue that they used. You can't even really see it where I've repaired it. Look, that little green splodge. Right down there you go. Much cleaner than super glue. So, I'm going to call this Xbox repaired. Again, as soon as the new port arrives, I will swap it out. And yeah, I'm going to put it all back together now so you can see it all happening. Right, so now let's put it back together. Take the fan off. It's only for testing purposes. I didn't apply new paste on it yet because it was for testing purposes. But yeah, let's do the thermal paste bit now. And you can see my lovely repair on the port. A solid look. Can't even bend it. That is a nice, solid repair. And it's nice and clean. So let's clean up that thermal paste. It's my MX4 thermal paste. I've nearly run out. This has lasted quite a while, to be fair. A nice amount on there. Lovely. Lovely. Now let's put the heatsink on. Make sure it's nice and clean. Look at that bit of... Let's come off of there. There you go. Right. Right, let's place that on there. Turn it around. Let's put the X clamp on. That's nicely done. So now that's solid on there. Now I'm gonna fast forward through this bit. Right, that's it. That's all put back together. You can see the HDMI port. I think you can see that is in there. Let's give it a little plug in, see if it's stable. Yep, it's nice. That's just a little bit wobbly because of the clamp. It's slightly off, but that's a nice solid connection. Let's plug it in and do a final test. The buttons click. Let's give it a go. Power cable's in, HDMI port's in, and let's give it a go. Boom. Give it a little wiggle. Nothing. Perfect. Look at that. Thanks for watching.